E salve, salve galera, e hoje iremos trazer aqui uma react do programa Talk Sport, que trouxe bastante informações sobre o Liverpool e também sobre o interesse do Liverpool em um jogador revelação da Premier League. Tudo isso nesse vídeo, mas antes galera, peço que vocês inscrevam-se no canal e deixem o like para nos ajudar. Então, sem enrolação galera, vamos começar aqui o nosso react do programa Talk Sport. Lembrando, os créditos estão todos no vídeo.
It's me and the goal team Gabby Abonlot. Now we're playing this because, of course, Chatham scored twice as the dominant Scotland side tonked Bolivia 4-0 in New Jersey in their final friendly before getting their World Cup campaign underway next week. Oh, we can sniff the World Cup. It's not too far now, is it? Gabby, do you think Scotland have had the ideal preparation for the tournament?
I think they have. I think Bolivia are a decent side as well to beat them 4-0. They just need to put that sort of performance in against Haiti. Their first game, get off to a flyer, get that goals up, and then two tough games, Brazil and Morocco. It'll be interesting to see how many points they need to get through.
How many do you think they get out of the group?
I think they might do, because there'll be some groups that third place gets you out of the group.
Okay, so you don't think they'll get top two?
No, I don't. Morocco are a very good side.
Yeah.
I think they'll lose to Brazil and Morocco. But if they can thrash Haiti, they should be looking at 4-5-0. They're a poor team, Haiti, mate.
Okay.
What I couldn't believe listening to the game on the weekend was that New Zealand are the lowest ranked team. That surprises me.
A clip came out last week.
Curacao, Haiti, Panama.
A clip came out last week of them supposedly training New Zealand, and they were awful. Yeah. And then, I don't think it matters yet. It's just, as you said, it's getting fitness.
Yeah, I want Scotland to get out of the group.
Yeah?
I
want
want Scotland.
All right. We'll stay with football. Shocking and deeply concerning scenes unfolded last night as Denmark's international friendly against Ukraine was abruptly abandoned following the mid-match collapse of Christian Eriksen. The terrifying moment brought back chilling memories of the cardiac arrest he suffered on the pitch almost 5 years ago at the Euros 2020. For more on this now, we're joined by TalkSport's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Good morning, Crookie. How you doing?
Morning, Crookie.
Good morning, guys. All good. Yeah, looking forward to flying out to the States on Wednesday. We're close now, aren't we? As you say, we can feel the World Cup.
Have you got the TalkSport credit card and you want it?
I think I'm going to need it in New York.
You are. I think we're going to see you out in New York. Me and Bentley fly out July the 4th, so we're going to see you out there, hopefully, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And talk of a little road trip down to Miami, if England get that far as well.
When do you fly, Crookie?
On Wednesday. Okay. So, first game.
Vou pausar o vídeo aqui, galera, para pedir a inscrição de vocês novamente. E também, galera, vou pedir para vocês ir lá no programa Talk Sport Liverpool e deixarem um like lá no vídeo.
Obviously, the tournament is Thursday.
How many sets of clothes are you taking, Crookie?
I'm not sure I've got enough pants.
That's your new catchphrase, isn't it, Cookie? Have you before we took forward? Have you packed your own bag? You heard what Gabby said last time I worked with him that he gets his other half to pack his bag. Have you packed yours?
There's no chance Mrs. Crook would do that for me. So yeah, I've actually been packed since last Wednesday. That's how prepared I am.
Oh wow! Wow, keen.
Say, for years you've heard us say pack your bags, you're off, but now finally you are. Right, we'll have a bit more fun in just a moment. Let's talk a little bit seriously about the latest news coming out of Denmark this morning. What is the latest news? What are you hearing?
Well, as you say, Christian Eriksen collapsing on the pitch during Denmark's game against Ukraine did bring back awful memories of that European Championship opener back in 2021. I actually commentated the game for TalkSport, and it was a real harrowing experience for everybody involved, his Denmark teammates, his friends, his family, and all those inside the stadium as well. We had a statement pretty quickly from the Denmark team doctor last night confirming that Christian actually walked off the pitch, this time by himself. The pacemaker kicked in, Eriksen having briefly been unconscious. And they were quickly in contact with him, according to the team doctor. He is now undergoing further examinations in hospital to determine what caused the incident. We're in ongoing contact with him and the doctors at the hospital. Christian is doing well. He asked me to send his regards to all the players and tell them he was okay. So good news that Christian is much more responsive this time around.
Yes.
Obviously, it's going to raise question marks about whether he now has to stop playing because he's done really well, doesn't he, to bounce back from that awful incident.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Right, let's move on to transfers or possible transfers. Van Heck, Brighton have rejected Tottenham's second bid in the region of £70 million. My goodness, he's entering the final year of his contract, having joined the Seagulls back in 2020 for just £2 million. Where are we at with this? Are Spurs going to come back for a third bid? I imagine they would be, right?
Yeah, I think this deal is going to happen. I think Jan-Paul van Hecke is keen for the move to happen. Obviously played under Roberto De Zerbi, now the Tottenham manager at Brighton. We know they have a really close relationship. And I think Brighton know they're going to have to sell at some point. He's only got a year left on his contract. So obviously all the time that is ticking down. So is his valuation. But we also know that Tony Bloom, the owner down in Sussex, can be a really tough negotiator. So I think Spurs are going to have to get somewhere near that £70 million valuation. But it's been a busy summer already, isn't it, for Tottenham? Andy Robertson and Marcus Senesi through the door. Obviously, Van Hecke coming, I think, would suggest that Christian Romero has probably played his last game for the club. And what I think De Zerbi is doing is trying to stabilise that back line and then work his way up the pitch, because, quite frankly, in the last 2 years, they've just conceded too many goals, haven't they, Tottenham?
Yes. A winger I loved watching last season when he was fit, Somerville. Let's talk about Spurs maybe for him, Crookie.
Yeah, well, they tried in January, came back with a pretty low ball bid that West Ham immediately rejected. They knew how important Somerville would be to their ultimately futile attempt to stay in the Premier League. And I think Somerville is one of the players who will definitely move on this summer. Obviously, they've already raided West Ham once in recent seasons for Mohamed Kudus, and I do expect Tottenham to go back in for Somerville. They won't be the only club. I think Everton have been registered with interest, and your beloved Aston Villa. So there could be a bit of a bidding war when it comes to Crescencio Somerville.
Big clubs.
Big clubs as always. Don't laugh, Crookie. Right, a quick word about Alex Scott. Bournemouth facing an uphill battle to keep him at the club. Links obviously to Liverpool and a reunion with his former boss, Andoni Iraola. Can we see Scotty following Iraola up north, do you think, Crookie?
I think he'd be a good fit. I think if you look at one of the many reasons that Liverpool couldn't defend their title this season, I think that the midfield was a real issue. Alexis McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch in particular didn't really hit the heights they did the previous campaign. Actually, before Arne Slot's first season, they were looking to bring in a number 6 Liverpool, and then sort of stumbled upon Gravenberch in that role by default, but it's not really his preferred position. Alex Scott, I think, is a terrific talent. I think if we get any pullouts from the England World Cup squad, I think he probably is next in line, which tells you how highly Thomas Tuchel rates him. There's obviously a relationship between him and Andoni Iraola, the Liverpool manager, and Richard Hughes, the sporting director at Anfield, who signed him for Bournemouth. So this would make a lot of sense. But again, Bournemouth want to keep him. They've offered him a new contract. So I think it's going to take a significant offer, but certainly this is going to be one that we're going to track throughout the course of the window.
Rookie, Manchester United's new signing Ederson got called up, didn't he, yesterday to the Brazilian squad, late call up for an injury. It'll be interesting to see how he does in the World Cup, won't it?
Yeah, it's interesting that it was a defender, wasn't it, who pulled out the squad, and he brought in a midfielder, Carlo Ancelotti. So that tells you that maybe he felt they were a bit understocked in that area. United trying to do business. I keep hearing whispers about Mateus Fernandes at West Ham. Obviously, Ederson is pretty much done. It's not been officially confirmed yet, but we expect that to happen. And there might be a third midfielder as well, particularly if Manuel Ugarte leaves the club. So again, I think United and the hierarchy there realise that if they're going to give Michael Carrick tools to push Arsenal potentially in a title fight, maybe it's a year too early, but certainly they need to revamp their midfield, and Ederson could be the first piece in the jigsaw.
Crookie, thanks for coming on. I'm guessing you're travelling economy because Simon Jordan's taking his entourage into business, so there's no room. Is that right?
I've actually paid for extra legroom myself.
Wow.
Company man I am.
Wow.
You're quite tall. Does that mean you're going to be in the cockpit as well now?
He won't pay for a coffee. Yeah. He never pays for a coffee on the Friday show, but he'll pay for...
Who paid for that upgrade, Crookie? You or them?
It was me. Yeah.
Wow.
And by the way, I think I paid for more coffees on a Friday than Gabby.
Behave yourself, Crookie.
That's when he turns up, by the way. If he gets a better offer from breakfast or from drive...
Company man. I'm a company man. Do as I told, Alex.
Yeah, you can keep him for Fridays. That's absolutely fine. Listen, safe journey. I look forward to meeting...
Top man, Crookie. Enjoy yourself, mate.
For a cocktail in New York. We'll see you soon. Safe travels.
See you soon, boys. Keep up the good work.
You too. There you go. The wonderful Alex Crook. He's brilliant, we love Crookie.
Yeah, Crookie, yeah.
Talking of brilliant, coming up, we're going to turn our attention to the boxing and the sensational performance by Chris Billam-Smith on the weekend. Chris will be joining us next to tell us who he wants to fight right after this.
E galera, vamos trazer mais uma aqui sobre o interesse do Liverpool em Alex Scott. O fator principal foi o técnico. O novo técnico do Liverpool, Anthony Areola, confirmado no cargo recentemente, tem Alex Scott, meio-campista do Bournemouth, como um nome a ser observado nessa janela de transferências no verão. Segundo os relatos, Areola planeja tentar repatriar o jogador de 22 anos, que impressionou pelo Bournemouth com sua energia, capacidade técnica e dedicação. E o Liverpool está na frente da corrida. Segundo o Tental, o Liverpool intensificou os reforços para contratar Scott, com Iraola sendo o principal articulador na operação, colocando os Reds na frente do Manchester United na disputa pelo jogador. E sob a pedida do Bannerman, o Talksport e o jornalista Bjorn Jacobs informam que o Bannerman está pedindo cerca de 80 milhões de euros por Scott neste verão. E o clube permanece determinado a mantê-lo, buscando amarrá-lo a um novo contrato a longo prazo que poderia incluir uma cláusula de rescisão, concorrência e renovação. Além do Liverpool, Manchester United e Tottenham também demonstram interesse no jogador. O Bournemouth está em negociações com o Scott para renovar seu contrato, segundo Fabrizio Romano. Na temporada 2025-26, Scott recuperou sua posição entre os titulares do Bournemouth, marcando seu primeiro gol na temporada em setembro contra o Brighton numa vitória por 2-1. Ele recebeu sua primeira convocação para a seleção principal da Inglaterra nesta temporada, embora não tenha integrado o grupo final de 26 de Thomas Tuchel para a Copa do Mundo de 2026, foi incluído na lista ampliada e convidado para o campo de treinamento na Flórida como um dos 4 jogadores suplementares. Um resumo do nosso vídeo de hoje, galera. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Se você gostou, peço novamente que você inscreva-se no canal e deixe o like para nos ajudar. Falou, até o próximo vídeo.